And we have our dear friend, Bhawna Luthra here on the show with us. And she is a family counselor. For those of you that do not know, she is amazing. So today our topic will be on adapting to change. And I'd like to start off with a quote before we start. So life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. Don't resist them. That only creates sorrow. Let reality be reality. Let things flow naturally forward in whatever way they like. By Lao Tzu. So Bhavna, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Wasn't that a good quote?
Yes, I'm trying to absorb this.
Yeah, just let reality be reality.
Reality.
Yeah.
You know, just be real.
Yes.
Be real.
Yeah. And we all go through so many changes throughout our lives, and change is one thing that's constant, right? So we are always going through different changes. Like, and before the show began, we were talking about my little one, 9-year-old, who had to change her school. Today was her first day at the new school. And, you know, she was so nervous, and just the change for her is a lot. And like any of us, when we go through changes, we have fears and we have anxieties and we have all these other emotions that we're going through, right? So for her, it was just, you know, she was shaking and she was just like not prepared for the day. But she was having these mood swings where she was like, okay, I'm excited to go. I'm going to make new friends. And I got this, mommy. And then she was like, oh, I don't know. What if I don't make any friends? So she was going through these like turmoil changes of like emotions. Right. So why is that? Like, why can't we just like embrace change? Why do we have to why do we go through that roller coaster of emotions?
It's, how do I say it? Like today?
Yeah.
It's a change.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And weather-wise, like all of you are dressed warm and I'm not. Right? So it comes. It's like when I walked out of the car, I came out of the car and I was like, oh, I'm not prepared.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What should I do? Maybe I should sit back in the car because I have 10 minutes. So when it first hits us, it's sort of scary. Like I come across people say, I'm scared. I'm nervous. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I said, what else would you do? Yeah. Do you have an option? Let's talk about options.
Yeah.
Right? So my role is to go to those unsettling questions which we never get to come across.
Right.
So I think with your daughter, it's like asking the unsettling questions.
Yeah.
Right? So what would you do?
Yeah.
Right? Different. If you don't want to go to school, what would you do?
Yeah.
Maybe today you'll get to stay home, but what would you do tomorrow?
Yeah.
What would you do the next day? It'd be boring.
Yeah.
She has to come up with that.
With her own answers, yeah.
Right? And then we can talk about change with like seasons. Like we say, hey, remember when you're in summer, you like swimming, you enjoy that. But when October hits, we get excited about Halloween.
Yeah.
And that's another fun part. And then when the Christmas comes and we get all, eat a lot of sugar and food and this and that, and we go visit Santa. See, there's change. Yeah. And change can be fun.
Yeah.
So maybe this school would be fun than the next one.
Yeah.
I know you're scared because we don't know what it's going to bring. Yeah. But you could maybe make more new friends and they'll be more fun.
Yeah.
So we have to talk about seasons for them and holidays so they get more excited because with children, you have to correlate with their fun things. So that way they can see, oh, yeah, it could be like a Christmas change. Yeah. It could be a Halloween change. Yeah. So they can picture it. So you have to create a very beautiful images.
Yeah.
And that way they can come on the other side.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah,
right?
it does. It does.
With children, you just have to create that image. Yeah. Because they are very imaginative at that age, right?
That's true.
So while you're talking about Christmas and Halloween and all these festive parts, they get excited.
Yeah.
And then all that anxiety which you were talking about is gone.
Yeah.
And then you have to sort of maybe give them something soothing to eat, So that reminds me like of the Halloween, like give them a candy and say, oh, see, this is going to be the Halloween candy. Yeah. And then she's thinking about Halloween. She's not thinking about the school anymore.
Yeah.
And the people. So you have to very imaginative, very creative with the kids.
Yeah.
When you
Yeah.
talk about change.
Yeah. Create a whole different scenario for them,
Yes,
basically.
yeah. And she might not enjoy it today, or she might have a good time. We don't know. But when she comes back, if she's still nervous, then bring it up. Talk to her. What was it like? It's okay. Change. Yesterday was kind of summer. Today is cold. Maybe tomorrow again summer will be like that. So talk with her. Yeah, change can happen like that.
Yeah.
That's okay. We have to keep on giving it a try.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
Yeah, and have her for the children. I always tell them for parents to have them draw.
Oh.
Like we call it. We have art therapy, play therapy with the kids. So we ask them if they can't express, can you draw what was school like in the picture, and then let her talk about it.
That's a good idea. Maybe I'll have her do that when I pick her up from school.
Like do some doodles with her. You do that. Like let's talk about our day together and draw our day. Have both of the girls there and just have you guys draw how was the day, and then talk about your day. So they talk about their day, and then they get comfortable rather than coming up with the words.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. That's a good idea. Probably do that today. And then I'll send you the pictures.
They're doodles, right? Yeah. And they're probably more creative than I am.
They really are. I draw stick figures, and they draw like a whole actual picture you can understand. So do you think change is important for personal growth? Why or why not?
Change, yes. Of course, yes. For my side, I would always say that. Because if we don't have a change, we become stagnant.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
So like us, we all are immigrants, right? So we had to make those changes. Right.
Yeah.
And when we first move, and then we talk about, it was like that back home. We had so much fun. Things were great. But then, we reminisce on those moments. And then we look at it, how much we have changed. And then when we go visit people back home, and then you see that there's so much stagnation. Mm-hmm. Yes, there's a culture. Of course, your cultural part you continue to embrace. And I encourage people, culture evolves you.
Yes.
Right? Don't say that what you left behind was not good. What I'm saying is that if we change with the time, with circumstances, we learn.
Yes.
Not about what's around us, but about our own self. Right? Mm. And embracing that change is important, because there might be people not going in the same pace as you are.
Yeah.
Right? And we can't carry everybody with us.
True.
Change is personal, right? We all are in this room, and you guys do so many shows, but everybody in this room is evolving differently.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
So we have to see that, how much I am evolving. And if we don't evolve, then we are sitting with that rotten thinking, the negative.
Yes.
And we don't know our own self. We're just there, right? And even driving today, I was just saying how much I have to change, right? When we go into social media and we look at all this, and it was like, I could be do that. I could be doing this. This is better than that. And, we go through that in our head, and then realize, then you have to step back and say, am I willing to make the change in me to be this?
Yeah.
Am I ready for that change in me? Because that's not me. That's that person.
True.
Right? And that's what's happening with people who are spending a lot more time on social media and all these things. That's what's happening, because we want that change, what we see there.
Yeah. But social media is such a tricky place to be, or getting your inspiration from, because that's not reality. At least I don't think it is, right? What we see on social media, majority of the time, is just portrayed to be so beautiful and so nice and all that. But in reality, it's just... Mm-hmm. It's fake.
It's fake, but it looks real to you because
True.
It's better.
Because then you want that,
because it's the better version.
Yeah.
Right. So you want that for you.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. But then you have to always point yourself towards yourself and say, "Am I willing to make that change? Am I that change?
Yeah.
Have I evolved? Or maybe it's just like you said, if it's all fake, it is worth getting there. Right?
Yeah.
So everybody grows differently. And I mean, in my field, there are so many people have started with me, and their maybe career was more successful and more fruitful with career, if I look at that way and then I could say, oh, I could be me. But then I say, no, I have not evolved, or maybe their evolvement was different than mine.
Yeah.
I am shaped different way. So we have to, that acceptance.
Yeah.
The acceptance of your evolvement. Sure. And that's the change.
Yeah.
Right?
I like that.
When people say change is season, changes in, we're talking about very, what we see. But there's something you can't see.
Yeah.
And that's the personal growth you were talking about, right?
Yes.
Because that's your own. And that's the beautiful part, right? Yeah. You know, change could be in your appearance, right? People like, we can go into the plastic surgery. You know? We go into that. We want to look different. We bring that change. But you have to see, would you be comfortable with that change?
Yeah.
Right? So your change is personal, and you have to see that. And whatever your growth may be slower, you might see that my growth is slower than the other people. And that's how it is.
Yeah. And that's okay.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Right? The acceptance.
Yes.
The acceptance is the personal growth. When we are unsettled, then there is no growth.
Yeah.
The acceptance, when you add that unsettling and the acceptance, then it's the personal growth. Yeah, it's like equation.
Wow, I like it.
Yeah, I just came up with it too.
I love it. Trademark that.
You bring it out. You bring it out. Girl, you do a good job with it.
Well, thank you. So why is it hard to accept change sometimes?
Because like we just said about your daughter, the example, right?
Yeah.
Because it's the culturally. Yeah. Culturally, we have the way we grew up, right? Don't go there. Don't put your hand there. It's risky. So we are always kind of, as a girl, it's even harder because we are always protected. Yeah. We are always shelter. I don't like that word, but this is what's used a lot nowadays. But, you know, we guard it, like we create the guards around. So that way we are scared to take those risks.
Yeah, you're almost like in a cocoon.
Yes. And then when you're there and then when you try to take step out, and it's sort of like, is it worth it? Right? And we make excuses.
True.
Right? We make excuses. Oh, I didn't do it because this. Because that's where your unsettled part sits in, right? Yeah. Because you haven't been pushed to take those risks.
Yeah, you always want to stay in that comfort zone because you're not pushed to the limit, or you don't want to push yourself to that limit.
Yes, right? So that's why we are always struggle to change, because we just don't want to take risk.
Yeah.
And the risk is scary because it could go in the other direction, what you have assumed in your head.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I think that's why when I talk to my clients when they have those fears and anxiety, and I said, okay, when you take the risk, you might come out to the very opposite side you are expecting. Would you be able to be comfortable with that?
Yeah.
You always have to see both sides of it.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what the elections are all about, right? You might be on the other side of it.
Yeah.
And will you be able to live with that? Would you live with the guilt, shame, embarrassment, or just disappointed in self? There's so much more goes into every decisions we make in life, Absolutely. Right? So you have to sit with that to the unsettling part. There'll be another level of unsettling coming from there. Would you be able to do that?
Yeah.
So you have to see the both side so you are prepared for that time being. Yes. But when you get there, then there'll be another level of unsettling. And then you have to evaluate that.
Yeah.
So we continue with the roll with the punches. So we will never be a point in our life we'll say, this is great.
Yeah.
That means that we become stagnant, right? We have to evolve. We have to change because it's like a tree, you know? It's like you go up, as tree grows, more branches come. From the branches, more branches come. That's how we are. When we talk about family tree, what is that? Right? Yeah. People, when my children were born and we made these scrapbooks, right? And then there was scrapbook, first page was family tree, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like we are changing, we are growing, right? Yeah. Different generations. And that's the beautiful part. We have to see that way we are that tree.
Yeah.
as a personal, one person level, we are also a tree.
Yeah.
Because there's so much branches of me growing from there.
Yeah.
From just me.
Just you. Yeah.
Myself.
Yeah.
Like I'm every day, another leaf comes, another leaves come, and it falls, and then another spring comes. So we have to view that, our life like a tree, that it's not just family tree, it's my tree.
Yeah.
I have grown there. That's grown that much. So what if I decide, no, I don't want to change? So what that happens to the tree?
It dies.
That tree never grows.
Yeah.
It just stays there and it dies.
Yeah. Wow.
Right?
Change is important.
And who's nurturing that tree? The situation, the circumstances, people you come across, some good things, and some bad things, some fall, some spring. So, you know?
Yeah.
See, you bring the good in me, girl.
I love it. You're so good. That's all you. So do you think change can help you refocus?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So how do you define change? I know you talked about the branches.
Mm-hmm.
But like in a reality form, let's say, like we spoke about Hannah, how her change is different, right? Like with going to a different school. Our change is different because we are now at a different studio. So I just defined change. I just did it.
Yes, that's another branch.
I just did it. We just grew another branch. There you go.
Then also we have to see that way. When people around us are changing, we are changing with them.
Yeah.
The change in Hannah is bringing change in you.
That is true. I think more than Hannah, it was me that had the nerves. Like, I know she was going through it, like the change and stuff, but for me, I think as a mom, seeing that in her, my anxieties were up too. And I was like, I wasn't, because I'm not in the classroom with her or at the school with her. So for me, it was more like, oh, I hope she's going to be fine. I hope, like, I almost want to keep driving by the school, make sure everything's okay. Like, just, do like a little prayer circle around the school or anything that can keep my daughter safe and she's happy. Yeah. But then again, she has to go through those changes. Like you said, she has to grow her own branches and she has to develop in that way where she is okay to have those changes around her.
Yes. And you have to define it that way too. Her.
Let's hold that thought real quick. We're going to take a real quick break. You are listening to the Chai Time Girls on 103.5 FM and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Chai Time here on 103.5 FM. You are listening to the Chai Time Girls. And for those of you that have just tuned in, we are in conversation with Bhawna Luthra, family counselor, on adapting to change. It's a great topic because we are all going through changes as we grow, evolve. So before we went on break, we were going to talk about how do I identify the difference between positive and negative changes in my life.
How do I? Oh, okay. Yes. Let me kind of. It's all, I think, perspective.
Yeah.
When we talk about positive and negative, because my positive could be your negative and negative yours. We always go through that. So whatever it comes, we have to see it as a greater responsibility. Everything comes with a greater responsibility. If we get like a higher position at work, right?
Yeah.
And we say, oh, that's great. I got, good title, good money.
Yeah.
But what it happens, it comes with a responsibility,
yeah.
right? And some people shy away from the responsibility. Like, I'd rather not take that position because it's going to really destroy my health, my family life. So we have to see what that positive and negative is.
Yes.
We have to constantly evaluate, like earlier I was saying, that how would it impact in my change, my growth?
Yeah.
Like when we're talking about personal growth. Like, how would it shape me? How much I have to sacrifice to make that change. So even going as a child, making that change, or as an adult, making that change, like move is a lot stressful for people.
Absolutely.
And you have to evaluate. Like when we move to a new area, we always look, I have to find a community. A lot of people I know, I go in these groups people have, like, oh, I'm moving from Chicago to Houston, and they see restaurants in that area. So you see that we prepare for that change, right?
Yeah.
But when I see that, earlier I was talking about when we migrated, it was different because we were going into the unknown.
Yeah.
And places and unknown everything. And that's very unsettling. Absolutely. So you have to sort of go with that, either blind and kind of take that risk.
Yeah.
Or you do the positive and negative and see how would it serve me.
Yeah.
See, earlier I think people more and more, I could say people are now willing to take risk than before because there were a lot of dark zones that people were not aware. Now we have so many ways we can prepare for a lot of things, and that helps us, right? So you can see that positive and negative, but we have to take it like it is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Do some risk part, take some risk, but also prepare for the risk.
Yeah.
Right? So then it's not a disastrous experience and you're just like, I'm never going to change. Right? I'm never going to move and never going to take any job change. So then we become stagnant. So there's a little bit of risk involved. There is any decision we make, right? So, and also look at the pros and cons and at the end, you accept whatever comes my way, it's going to be that for me, right? It's just what
Sometimes
it is
that's
for
the hard
me.
part, but you have to do it.
Yes. And see, if we look back a year, we might have a different questions in our head. Should I do this? Should I not that? And look, a year later, it doesn't even matter anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The things which were unsettling us before, they're not even there anymore. Either that never happened, more than half of the things never happened.
Yeah.
Right? 90% of the things don't happen.
Yeah.
And that the fear part, right?
Yeah.
The fear we have is because we are just not prepared for the unknowns.
True.
There's a book I talked about in the past of Freedom from the Known, like J. Krishnamurti. Yeah. So I think everybody should read that because he talks about this stuff a lot. Right?
It's funny because I remember almost 6 years ago when we all started the Chai Time show. And
6 years ago?
Almost 6 years,
Oh, wow.
December 10th, right? Yeah. So when we started off, it was a fun show and we didn't know what to expect from the show. We would sit 8 hours preparing for the show, like a full work day preparing for the show. And now we're just like, okay, let's go. What's the topic about? Let's do this. And that changed, we embraced it. Mm-hmm. And now we're at a different radio station and we are loving it. And we are, we've learned so much from this change. We have grown so much from it. And, I feel like a lot of things, like I was telling the girls earlier today, like a lot of things that just me personally navigating through my life because of people like you and a lot of other people that we've met on our show that have like kind of showed us the techniques on how to handle it. We've embraced those changes and we're able to use those in our real lives and make those changes or navigate through life better because we've learned through our experiences with you all that have come on our show and that have shared so many great techniques with us.
And thank you for bringing the good in me.
Oh, I love you.
All of you. Truly. I surprised myself too.
Yeah.
Oh, then I realized, I have changed.
Yeah.
Because if we don't talk about it, we don't change.
Absolutely.
Right? I can just sit with all this and never have words for it. Then I can't reflect on it.
Yeah.
So that's why, we will talk more about that. How do we get to that change? Right?
Yes.
But I think before the positive and negative, it's like practicing 911.
Yeah.
If you are in the emergency happens, and life is going to throw you a lot of emergencies, right? That you're going to see negative first. It's just a human nature, most of us. Yeah. We look at the negative first.
Absolutely.
Right? Oh my God, it's an emergency. What do I do? Because we don't want those sort of situations, right? So in a way, we have to prepare for that, right? We are on the road, we're driving, we are actually putting ourselves in the 911 situation most of the time when you drive on 59 and 45. Yes. I see that, oh my God, who would be driving this hour? Why did I choose to drive at 5 p.m., right?
Exactly.
Or 7:30 a.m.? Why did I sign up for this? But we have to prepare, right? We can't just not take the risk, right? Yeah. So you just either say, can I be prepared for this? Or I can just sit back and nothing will happen. Then people like what's happening now in between Israel and Palestine, they're in their home and getting hurt. So 911, the emergencies can happen anytime. So we cannot fully prepare, but we have to be ready for that change, what life brings to us, right? We're talking a very superficial, because most of us, we live in fluff, right? We don't talk like those, we call it controversy, but it's not controversy. These are real life topics.
Absolutely.
Right? We talk about change, which we're doing. We're just touching the fluff.
Yes.
Right? There's so much underneath. I can talk about relationship change. You go through divorce, there's a change. There's a death, there is a change. There's so many changes. Wars are a change. Political change is a change. Climate change is a change. There's so much things about change, right? But then we wonder, how do we prepare for everything? So I'm just saying, prepare for like the 911 call every day in your life. Like something can happen wrong in your life, and are you prepared? Right? And like I'll give a quick example.
Please.
Like I have a client, and she loved her husband too. Like she could die for the person. Kind of, that's how she describes it, right? So now she finds out that he's cheating, right? That change is hard. Right? The trust is gone, right? That change, that it's not the change in the relationship, it's in change in her. Like, how am I fool? Am I fool? You lose the faith in your own self. Can I trust somebody again? So when the change can be in between people, change can be personal, and change could be in political, change could be in societal, community, so much more in that change goes. So that's why it's very important day to day asking those unsettling questions. What's happening around me is impacting me. How am I taking all this, right? We turn on the news and then all negative, nothing positive we hear. So what's unsettling in me, right? I can't change all these outside changes, but I can change what's here. Some is acceptance. Some is like, how do I feel when I watch this? Compassion. Right? Am I changing for worse? Like, am I becoming callous? Because there's so much happening and I'm not able to contribute anything. So should I just sit with it and say, it doesn't pertain to me. I can just close my eyes and walk away, right? So if somebody's fall on the road and say, okay, they will figure out how to get up. Or am I willing to go and offer them my hand and say, help you get up? So it's kind of like that. Whatever, like you were saying earlier, you becoming part of the American Cancer Society and doing your part. So you want to do the donations to honor your aunt. So the thing is that you want to be that change, right? We can be the change in very little level. If we don't, we can just walk away. We can't walk away from life, right? We contribute what's happening outside to make our change. Because we can walk in life alone, right? We have to hold hands and, we have to go through life with all the changes around us. So you make them part of you, but shift yourself in a very positive way, not in a negative way. These negative has to become your growth. Because let's say, whatever political way you think, I think humanity is on top of all, right? We have to have compassion for people who are dying now. And what can I do? It doesn't matter which part of the zone they are, that, Palestine or Israel or whatever else, right? Half of us are from India, half of us are here from Pakistan. We are making in harmony here. So we have to see that way, right? Humanity comes first, and we need to bring that change in us. If we change our outlook, a lot of things would be different. But we don't, because we want to live in that little bubble. Because we don't want to change.
It's time to pop the bubble.
Right?
So how can I build resilience and adaptability to handle unexpected changes?
Yes, beautiful. Like what I was saying, that death, right? And change in relationships, even like your daughter's case, right? And it's unexpected. Right? When you have those things, What was your question again? Sorry, if
It's okay.
I want to.
How can I build resilience and adaptability to handle unexpected change?
Well, how can I build resilience? Optimism.
Ah.
Optimism and self-belief and attitude towards life. These are, I think, I practice every day.
Yeah.
I'm very optimistic in people.
Yeah.
I'm very optimistic about what's around us. And I'm optimistic for myself. Every day I get up like, okay, I think I'm going to do great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
It's almost like a self-talk or affirmations.
That's the word I was going to use. Self-talk, you know. There's self-doubt.
Yeah.
Right? There's going to be always self-doubt.
Yeah.
But it's okay. Live with that self-doubt. That self-doubt can be your strength too.
Because it pushes you to do better.
Yes, because if you don't doubt yourself, you're overconfident. That's not
that
doesn't work in your favor either, right? And have a sense of humor.
Yeah.
Right? Continue to have that sense of humor, because joke about silly stuff. Hey, I might joke, you might not even get it. That's okay. It made me laugh. I mean,
we've had that happen many times.
That happens in the families all the time, right? And like I was in a meeting, and this is my earlier supervisor 15 plus years ago, and he said she's very colorful to the other therapist about me.
Oh, okay.
And so this therapist say, colorful. Is she coming out? Okay. So what do you mean colorful? Personality colorful? I never seen her. She's always comes quiet, serious. So it's just how people see you and perceive you. They might see you as funny. They might see you serious, or they might see you colorful. So it depends who you're with, right? Yeah. We come out differently.
With different people.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
like I was telling you, you bring out something in me. Like we all kind of bring out in each other. And that's the way it is. But my relationship with my family is probably different. They probably think I'm the more serious person on the planet. Worry word, because that's how I'm perceived there.
Yeah.
But that helps us, because we have to see parts and parcel of us in every relationship.
Parts and parcels. I like that.
Parts and parcel. And because if we don't have, actually, in our work, we talk about parts. We are actually parts. We're not one person. We are parts, because I'm different with here. I'm different with my family, with my clients. Yeah. And so we have to see that. How am I in every parts?
True.
Right? If I just say I am only me. No, you're not only you. There are parts of you.
Yeah.
Right? Parts and parcel of you. So you have to look at that package and say, okay, that's okay. My role is here different, and my role here is different. But I'm shifting from all that, right? If I don't see me in parts, then I'm just one, and that's boring. I'd rather be colorful, rather be serious.
Yeah.
Because I'm playing a different role. With your partner, you're romantic and this and that. For your daughters, you're just mom, compassionate, caring. Yeah. So they see you differently, right? Yeah. Than your spouse. So you are parts. So we can't say that we're just one.
True.
Right? So that's the resilience. So, but we have to kind of acknowledge that and adapt from there, right?
Yeah. So when you face resistance or fear while making a change, how do you overcome that?
Say that again.
So when you face resistance or fear while making a change,
okay,
how do you face that?
How do we face the resistance? How do I? I have written something. It better not come up with a new thing, which I've been doing pretty much.
You got this.
So just be aware of it. Yeah. First of all, just be aware of it. If someone else noticed, then let them share it. Okay. You know, because if they notice that you're struggling, and it shows on your face, because with me happens, my partner, my family can see that. Yeah. Oh God, what's wrong with you? You know, they say, what's wrong with you? Yeah. Right? That's the common phrase. Which we don't say that, but in our work, what's wrong with you? Yeah. Right?
I don't even allow that at my house. You can't say that to my kids.
We talked about it so
yeah, exactly.
Or they say, are you okay? Right? Yeah. Like they see that on your face, right? And then let them say, we get defensive when somebody says, "Are you okay?" or "What's wrong with you?"
Yeah.
And then rather than reacting to that, say, "Okay, do you think I look worried?" And yes, you are looking worried. Let me tell you what I'm worried, right? Like, share it.
Yeah.
Don't hold everything to yourself. Yeah. I think we have become very serious people because we walking like carrying the whole world's weight on our shoulders all the time.
Yeah.
And we always think I have the most burden than the other people, right? Yeah. So I think that's where we have to say that we can share the burden. I don't have to carry all the fear. Like yesterday, I think, it was yesterday, I told my husband, I am worried about this. And he's saying, are you done? Basically, he's saying, you're worrying is reasonable, but it's not that big like you're taking.
Yeah.
Then he said, are you done? I said, yeah. And then he kind of dissected a little bit, and then he assured me it's not
that big of a deal.
It's bigger deal. Oh, you're not alone in this.
Yeah.
Just all those things.
Yeah.
And kind of consoled me, and I said, okay, I am not alone in this. I can handle it because it's going to happen the way it's going to happen. Yeah. Right? My worry is not going to change anything, but we all go through that. Like as a therapist, I would say, oh yeah, I got it all figured out. Nothing happens to me. I don't worry. I don't get nervous. No, we all get that. Yeah. Right? So just have to see that, acknowledge that fear and sit with that fear. And if somebody notices, then share with them, or just find somebody you can share your fears with. Yeah. It could be a professional, or it could be a friend, could be anybody. So that way they can sort of dissect and reassure you that you can handle it. We need that push. Yeah. Right? And if it's becoming, I don't want to miss anything because I have a lot here. And also, important, we have to notice that if it's real or imagined, a lot of time we just sit with fears and we kind of pile it up. And sometimes we go into a whole another level of tangent.
You're so right.
Right?
Yeah.
And at some point you have to say, is it real or is it just, I'm just going off with it?
Yeah, because sometimes you start elaborating on what is in your own head. You start thinking that, you start making up stories in your own mind that, okay, this person did this or this situation happened, and therefore, because of this, there's more to it. And you just keep adding to it when there's really nothing else to it.
It's like right before the exams. Yeah. When I was working at university, all these fears with the students I've seen, they're like, this is going to happen, then I'm going to be dropped out of this program, and this is going to happen. There was just like all that happening with them. And then I was like, okay, well, it hasn't happened yet. Right? First you have to say, it hasn't happened yet. Yeah. You have to remember that. That's $1 million question. Yeah. Like, has it happened? Right. No. Okay. Well, then let's see what can you do not to happen. Yeah. I can do this. I only have 1 day to study, and I have to cover this 50% I haven't studied. And I said, how much can you study more? 25. So how much do you need to pass? 70. Okay, you already covered 50. You got 25% more you can study. So we're still good, 75%. So you have to pass 70, right? So we're 5 above. There's a room for error. There's a room for mistake.
I love it.
So you kind of dissect that with them and say, oh, they go like, yeah, I have time. And if I push and shove, I can make it 80. Okay, then you got 10% more in the room. So we have to see that, right? Is it my real imagination that I'm going to, yeah. I haven't failed it yet. So till I haven't failed, I'm still pass.
There you go.
There's a way I can pass this. So I always see life that way. Yeah. I haven't failed in it. I still can make it. I can still make it, and let's make it happen, right? Yeah. And it's an emotion, right? Fear is an emotion. It is, right? If you know that it's not, it doesn't have something will kind of act into. It's not an action. Yeah, it's emotion. Yeah, right. If it's an emotion, I can change my emotion.
Yeah, that's actually what I told Hannah. That's funny you say that, because I literally told her, I said, it's okay to have these emotions. You're going to have fear. You're going to have, because she was going through these roller coasters of different fear or different emotions, fear, anger, anxiety, just different emotions. And I said, it's okay to feel the things that you feel, but then what? After you go through those, then what? You have to start being back your normal self, or try to think happy thoughts, put positive things out there, and see how it goes. We will get through it together. So
right. See that support system, and as an adult, we all have to create that. For children, we provide.
Yeah.
And when children become adults, we don't prepare them that there will be no support system.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of young people are struggling, because they are seeking that support system which they grew up with. A lot of our Desi kids struggle with that. They think they are building autonomy, that change, right? But they grew up with a support system. They push the support system they had because they want to create their own support system. And it is tough out there to have that support system.
Yeah.
Right? And then a lot of course people ask me, should we support our adult children? Yes. Emotionally, yes. Continue to support your adult children. I still seek emotional support from my parents. What's wrong with that? There's nothing. Yes, if they need financial support, then you have those tough conversations, right? But emotional supports, we continue to provide for each other. Why would you want to have them finding their support system from ABC, from some people outside?
Yeah.
If you can give it to them.
Absolutely.
Don't say that we are... we can talk about another topic for adult children, right? But that's what it is, that we can't survive alone, and we need that friends, family to show that it's okay, you're going through the change, but you're not alone, like you said. Absolutely. With your daughter, right? Yeah. And if there's fear, then unsettling part, you have conversations about it, right?
Yeah, true. So
do we have time for more?
No. I had one that I really wanted to ask, but I guess we can get that too. Okay, let me just ask you this real quick. What techniques or strategies can I use to effectively cope with major life changes?
Whew. Bad times don't last. Bad time don't last.
Never last.
Nothing, nothing is forever. Nothing is forever. True. Change is in everything, right?
Change
so
is
you just
constant.
And nothing is going to be perfect.
Yeah.
That's another thing we have to say, that.
Yeah.
Like nothing is going to be
But
permanent.
embrace the imperfect. Yes. It's okay.
Perfect is your perfect.
Overrated.
My perfect could be different.
Yeah.
Right?
Perfect is so overrated.
Yes, right. So we don't have to catastrophize everything, right? Yeah. And that makes it worse in our thoughts.
Yeah.
Right. And we have to changing negative assumption to neutral. If we are talking about, this going to happen, and make it neutralize it. Yeah. You're done, right?
Yeah. Oh man, there's so much more to say and so much more to talk about.
Keep a healthy mindset.
I love that.
Keep a healthy mindset.
Keep a healthy mindset.
Yes.
That is what we are going to end with. Keeping a healthy mindset. And change is constant. So, my friends, thank you for joining us here on 103.5 Hum FM. We shall see you next week, same time, same place. Thank you for joining us, Bhavna, and
thank you.
We love you. Thank you.